The message came during the quietest hours of the night shift at SETI's primary listening post in New Mexico. Dr. Rajesh Patel had been about to end his shift and the arrays picked up something different from the usual background noise of the cosmos. The signal was clear, structured, and repeated with mechanical precision. "This can't be right," he muttered, fingers flying across his console. But the verification protocols confirmed what his instincts were telling him: this was no natural phenomenon. Within hours, every major space agency and observatory on Earth had confirmed the same thing: humanity had just received its first verified alien transmission. The message itself was even more startling than its existence. Transmitted in mathematical patterns that took just days to decode, it revealed an urgent plea for help. A fleet of over 200 massive ships carrying nearly 3 million beings was stranded in space, their propulsion systems critically damaged after encountering what they called a spatial anomaly near Jupiter's orbit. Admiral Jennifer Hayes stood before the hastily assembled United Nations Security Council, her normally stoic expression betraying a hint of excitement. The Araxians, as they call themselves, possess technology far beyond our current capabilities. However, their ships are currently operating on emergency power, and their life support systems will fail within 3 months. The chamber erupted in overlapping voices, each nation's representative trying to be heard over the others. It was Professor Thomas Williams, the leading expert in xenobiology, who finally brought order to the chaos. "Ladies and gentlemen, we're missing the point. These beings chose to contact us specifically. Despite their advanced technology, they believe we can help them. The question isn't whether we should, but how." Within days, the largest collaborative effort in human history began to take shape. Space agencies shared their most classified technologies, private aerospace companies opened their facilities, and governments worldwide diverted resources to what was now called Operation Lightbridge. Dr. Kira Yoshida, head of propulsion systems at the Japanese Space Agency, led the team tasked with modifying existing spacecraft for the rescue mission. The Araxians provided specifications for the materials they need. Ironically, while their technology is far more advanced, the raw materials they require are relatively common on Earth. The challenge isn't the materials, it's delivering them in time. The rescue fleet would consist of 12 ships, each carrying specialized repair equipment and resources. The biggest challenge was modifying Earth's existing spacecraft to travel faster than anything humans had ever built before. Traditional chemical rockets wouldn't be enough, they needed something revolutionary. The breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Dr. Ayesha Rahman, a quantum physicist from Pakistan, proposed adapting the Araxians' own theoretical work on spacetime manipulation, which they had shared in their transmissions. Her team worked around the clock to develop what she called a spacefold drive, technology that wouldn't actually break the light-speed barrier, but would instead create controlled shortcuts through space. As the first test of the modified engines approached, humanity held its collective breath. The unmanned probe carrying the prototype drive disappeared from Earth's orbit exactly as planned. Hours later, it reappeared near Mars, having covered a distance that would normally take months in just under 4 hours. Commander David Russell, selected to lead the rescue mission, watched the successful test from Mission Control in Houston. "This is just the beginning," he told his assembled crew. "We're about to attempt something unprecedented in human history. Not just the rescue itself, but proving that humanity is ready to take its place among the stars." But even as the rescue fleet prepared for launch, unsettling questions began to surface. Dr. Patel, still monitoring the Araxian transmissions, noticed subtle inconsistencies in their signals. The patterns were too perfect, the timing too precise. And there was something else, buried deep within the mathematical code of their messages. He detected what appeared to be a warning. As the countdown to launch began, humanity stood united in its most ambitious endeavor yet. But beneath the excitement and determination lay a growing sense that they were missing something crucial. The Araxians' distress was real, but perhaps their rescue mission was about to reveal something far more significant than anyone had imagined. The fate of two civilizations now rested on humanity's shoulders, and the clock was ticking. As Commander Russell boarded his ship, he couldn't shake the feeling that this rescue mission was about to become something far more important than anyone had anticipated, a test of humanity's readiness to join a larger cosmic community. The launch of humanity's rescue fleet lit up the night sky across 3 continents. 12 ships, representing the combined technological might of Earth, broke free from their moorings in a carefully choreographed sequence. Commander Russell, aboard the flagship Prometheus, watched as the last traces of blue atmosphere faded to stark black. All vessels report optimal conditions, Lieutenant Nadia Volkov announced from her station. The Russian cosmonaut had logged more space hours than anyone else on the crew, but even she couldn't hide her amazement at the smooth operation of their new engines. Spacefold drive readings are stable across the fleet. The first true test of Dr. Ramon's revolutionary drive system came as they approached the Moon. Traditional spacecraft would take days to reach lunar orbit, they made it in under 40 minutes. But the real challenge lay ahead. The Arisian fleet's position near Jupiter meant crossing a distance that would normally take years in a matter of days. Multiple anomalous readings detected, reported Dr. James O'Connor, the fleet's chief scientist. His instruments were picking up strange energy signatures that seemed to ripple through space ahead of them. These patterns, they're similar to what the Araxians described encountering before their systems failed. The rescue fleet's formation tightened as they approached the first fold point. Commander Russell's voice was steady as he gave the order, all ships, prepare for spacefold initiation. Dr. Ramon's calculations are solid, but we're still making history here. Stay alert. The transition was unlike anything they'd trained for. For a brief moment, reality seemed to bend around them. Through the viewports, the stars stretched into lines, then twisted into impossible geometries before snapping back to normal. They had just covered the distance to Mars in less than an hour. But something was wrong. The Arisian transmissions, which had been constant since first contact, suddenly changed their pattern. Professor Lucia Santos, the fleet's xenolinguistics expert, noticed it first. The mathematical structure of their signals, it's shifting. Either their situation has drastically changed, or... She never finished her sentence. A massive energy surge rippled through space, causing all 12 ship systems to fluctuate wildly. When their screens cleared, they found themselves facing something impossible, a tear in the fabric of space itself, shimmering with colors that human eyes had never seen before. Multiple contacts. Lieutenant Volkov's voice was tense. The Arisian fleet, they're moving. Their systems appear to be functioning at full capacity. Through the quantum communications array, a new message arrived from the alien fleet. Unlike their previous mathematically precise transmissions, this one carried emotion, urgency, fear, and something else that took the humans moments to recognize: hope. Children of Earth, the message began, forgive our deception. We had to know if you were ready. The threat we face, that all spacefaring civilizations face, requires more than just technological advancement. It requires something that cannot be measured or calculated. The tear in space grew larger, revealing glimpses of other realities, other possibilities. The Arisian ships began to move in formation, creating a pattern that the humans' computers struggled to analyze. But Dr. O'Connor recognized it immediately. It's a defensive formation. They're not running from something, they're preparing to fight. Commander Russell ordered the fleet to maintain position, even as more tears began appearing around them. Whatever's happening, he addressed his crew, we came here to help. That hasn't changed, regardless of the circumstances. The space between the fleets rippled again, and new entities emerged, beings of pure energy, their forms constantly shifting between states of matter that defied physics as humans understood it. The Araxians' next transmission came through with crystal clarity. They are called the Void Weavers. For millennia, they have tested emerging civilizations, seeking those with the potential to join the Cosmic Alliance. But their methods have grown increasingly destructive. We chose to intervene, to find another way. Your response to our distress call proved what we hoped, that humanity possesses the one quality that might save us all. And what quality is that? Commander Russell asked, even as his tactical officer reported more tears opening around them. The answer came not from the Araxians, but from the Void Weavers themselves, their thoughts manifesting directly in the minds of every human crew member: compassion. The willingness to risk everything to help others, even those unknown to you. A trait rare enough to make you valuable, or dangerous enough to make you a threat. The human fleet now found itself caught between two ancient forces, with the fate of not just Earth but countless civilizations hanging in the balance. As Commander Russell prepared to make the most important decision of his life, he realized that humanity's first steps into the galactic community would not be marked by technological achievement, but by the choices they made in the next few moments. The true test was about to begin. The void between Jupiter's orbit blossomed with energy as the Void Weavers manifested fully, their crystalline forms refracting starlight in ways that made human eyes water. Commander Russell stood on the Prometheus's bridge, facing a decision that would echo through human history. All ships, battle stations, he ordered, but raised his hand before anyone could act on the command. But power down weapons. We didn't come this far to start a war. The Void Weaver's response was immediate. A pulse of pure energy swept through the human fleet, but instead of the damage everyone expected, their ship systems suddenly integrated with technology far beyond human understanding. Holographic displays sprang to life, showing the true scope of the conflict they'd stumbled into. Lieutenant Volkov gasped as the data streamed across her console. "Sir, I'm seeing thousands of civilizations. Some thriving, some extinct. All tested by the Void Weavers. The Araxians, they're not just another alien race. They're the ones who passed the test before us." First Officer Ibrahim Hassan stepped forward, his dark eyes fixed on the swirling patterns of energy surrounding their ships. "The question is, what's the real test? If they wanted to evaluate our technology, they could have done that without this elaborate scenario." The answer came in a series of images projected directly into their minds. The Void Weavers showed them glimpses of countless species that had achieved technological greatness but failed the true examination, the test of character. Some had ignored the distress call entirely. Others had attempted to steal the advanced technology. Many had tried to attack when they discovered the deception. Professor Santos, still analyzing the complex patterns of communication flowing between the ships, made a breakthrough. The Araxians aren't just observers, they're rebels within the testing system. They believe the Void Weavers' methods are too harsh, too binary. Pass or extinction. Commander Russell absorbed this information as he watched more tears in space appear around them. Through these dimensional windows, he could see other versions of Earth, some thriving with advanced technology, others lying in ruins. The weight of what they represented pressed down on him like a physical force. Dr. O'Connor's instruments were recording unprecedented readings. The spacefold technology we developed, we didn't just replicate their tech. We found our own way to achieve it. That's significant. The Void Weavers' next communication bypassed language entirely, transmitting pure concept, innovation, determination. But most importantly, choice. "We understand now," Russell responded, addressing both the Void Weavers and the Araxians. "This isn't just about whether humanity is ready for advanced technology. It's about how we'll use it. What we'll become." The Arasian ships moved closer, their massive forms dwarfing the human fleet. Their next transmission carried centuries of accumulated wisdom. For too long, the test has been about power, who deserves to wield it. We believe it should be about understanding, who knows when not to use it. Suddenly, every screen on the Prometheus lit up with warnings. The tears in space were growing, merging, creating a window into what appeared to be the heart of the galaxy itself. The Void Weavers' forms shifted, becoming more defined, more purposeful. "The true test begins now," they communicated. "You understand the stakes. You see the possible futures. Now show us your choice. The Araxians' final message carried both warning and encouragement. Remember, humans, technology can be granted or taken away. But the qualities that brought you here, compassion, innovation, the willingness to risk everything to help others, those are yours alone. Commander Russell looked at his crew, seeing in their faces the same determination that had launched humanity's greatest rescue mission. They had come to save others and found themselves at a crossroads that would determine the fate of their entire species. "We didn't come this far to be tested," he announced, his voice carrying to every human ship. "We came to help. And if helping means facing your trials, then let's show them exactly what humanity is capable of when we're fighting for something bigger than ourselves." The void between worlds shimmed with possibility as humanity prepared to face its greatest challenge, not a test of power or technology, but of the very qualities that made them human. The test began with a paradox. The merged dimensional tears revealed three distinct crises occurring simultaneously across different sectors of space. Each required immediate intervention, but the human fleet could only respond to one at a time. First scenario, Dr. O'Connor reported, his voice tight with tension. A dying star about to go supernova. 2 inhabited worlds in its system. We could save one with our current resources. Second, Lieutenant Volkov continued, a plague spreading across a space station housing refugees from 12 different species. We have the medical technology to create a cure, but synthesizing it would drain our ship's power reserves. And third, Professor Santos finished, a peaceful civilization about to be invaded by a warlike species. We could prevent the invasion, but it would mean revealing advanced weapons technology to both sides. The Void Weavers remained silent, their crystalline forms pulsing with expectant energy. The Araxians too watched, their massive ships holding position around the human fleet. Commander Russell stood from his chair, studying the data streaming across the main viewport. "They're testing our decision-making process, not just the decisions themselves." His eyes narrowed as he spotted something in the patterns. Dr. O'Connor, analyze the star's decay rate. Professor Santos, check the linguistic patterns in the invasion alert. The two officers worked quickly, and their findings confirmed Russell's suspicion. "These scenarios," O'Connor announced, "they're not just simultaneous, they're connected. The supernova's radiation signature matches the energy needed to power a shield against the plague. And the plague's genetic structure matches the biological markers of both species in the invasion scenario," First Officer Hassan finished, catching on. "They're not three problems. They're parts of one solution." Russell allowed himself a small smile. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or our compassion in isolation, it's our ability to see connections and think creatively. He opened a channel to all human ships. "New plan. We're not choosing between scenarios. We're solving all of them." The next hours demonstrated why humanity had survived countless challenges on Earth. The fleet split into 3 task forces, but instead of working independently, they coordinated in ways the observers had never considered. The ships studying the supernova discovered they could harness its energy rather than trying to prevent its explosion. This power was transmitted to the medical team, giving them enough energy to synthesize not just a cure for the plague, but a biological shield against similar diseases. The threatened civilization received neither weapons nor direct intervention. Instead, the humans shared the plague cure with both sides, creating a diplomatic channel that forced the aggressive species to recognize their potential allies rather than victims. Remarkable, the Arasian transmission carried something like amusement. They've transformed 3 potential catastrophes into one unified solution that benefits all parties. The Void Weaver's response manifested as a shifting pattern of light and shadow. This approach was unexpected. In all our tests across countless species, none have attempted to reject the premise of choosing between crises. But before anyone could celebrate, the dimensional tears pulsed again, revealing a far more terrifying truth. The test scenarios, though artificial, had been based on real situations scattered across the galaxy. Situations that were actually happening. The true test, the Void Weavers communicated, is not whether you can solve hypothetical problems. It is whether you will commit to solving real ones. Your species has shown remarkable potential, but potential without commitment is meaningless. The images flooding their screens showed dozens of civilizations facing extinction, hundreds of worlds in crisis. The scale of suffering was almost overwhelming. Commander Russell felt the weight of every human's eyes on him as he stood. When we received the original distress call, we didn't know if we could help. We didn't know if we would succeed. We knew only that we had to try. He faced the swirling forms of the Void Weavers directly. Nothing has changed. Show us what needs to be done, and humanity will find a way. The Void Weavers' forms began to shift again, but this time into something never before revealed to any species. The final test was about to begin, and with it, humanity would either earn its place among the stars or join the long list of civilizations that had reached for greatness and fallen short. The Araxians moved their ships into a defensive formation, preparing for whatever would come next. In that moment, every human on every ship understood that they were no longer part of a rescue mission. They had become part of something far larger, a turning point in galactic history. The final test came not as a complex puzzle or an impossible choice, but as a simple truth. The Void Weavers' forms coalesced into a singular entity, a being of pure energy that filled the space between the stars. To join the galactic community, their collective consciousness resonated. A species must prove not only their capability but their commitment to a single principle, the preservation and advancement of all life, not just their own. The dimensional tiers widened, showing the true state of the galaxy. Thousands of civilizations trapped in cycles of war and destruction. Countless species on the brink of extinction. Worlds dying from environmental collapse. But among these scenes of devastation were glimpses of hope, civilizations that had overcome their challenges, species that had learned to thrive together. "We've seen enough," Commander Russell declared, his voice steady. "Every crisis you've shown us, every problem you've presented, they're all symptoms of the same fundamental challenge. The inability to see beyond immediate gains to recognize our shared destiny." First Officer Hassan stepped forward. "Our history on Earth taught us this lesson. We nearly destroyed ourselves countless times before we learned that our greatest achievements came from cooperation, not competition." The Void Weaver's response was immediate and unexpected. The energy being split apart, revealing a council chamber unlike anything humans had ever imagined. Representatives from thousands of species appeared, some physical, some energy-based, some defying human comprehension entirely. "This," the Araxians transmitted, "is the true galactic alliance. Not a test of worthiness, but a commitment to mutual survival and growth." Professor Santos's instruments detected something remarkable. The chamber, it's not just a meeting place. It's a nexus point connecting all advanced civilizations. A network of knowledge and resources spanning the entire galaxy. The Void Weavers, now revealed as the guardians of this alliance, presented humanity with their true purpose. "We do not test species to judge their worth, but to prepare them for the responsibilities of cosmic citizenship. The challenges we present are real. The choices we demand have consequences. The commitment we require is absolute." Lieutenant Volkov's console lit up with new data. "Sir, they're offering us access to their technological database. The accumulated knowledge of every member species, it's beyond anything we could have imagined." But Dr. O'Connor noticed something else in the data stream. This knowledge comes with obligations. Each member civilization is responsible for helping others overcome their challenges. It's not just about advancing ourselves, it's about lifting up everyone. Commander Russell stepped forward, addressing not just the Void Weavers but the entire gathered council. "Humanity accepts these responsibilities. Not because of the knowledge you offer, but because it's the right thing to do. We came here to save lives. Learning we can save more, help more, achieve more, that doesn't change our commitment. It strengthens it. The chamber erupted in a chorus of approval, some audible, some telepathic, some expressed in ways humans would spend centuries learning to understand. The Void Weaver's final test had revealed not just humanity's potential, but their fundamental nature. Welcome, the Council's unified voice resonated through space itself, to a larger universe. As the human fleet prepared to return to Earth, carrying news that would forever change their civilization, Commander Russell looked out at the vast expanse of space with new eyes. They had come seeking to save a stranded alien fleet. Instead, they had found humanity's true place in the cosmos. The Araxians transmitted one final message as the humans began their journey home: remember this moment. You came to rescue us, but in doing so, you proved something far more important, that the greatest power in the universe isn't technology or knowledge, but the willingness to help others, even at great cost to ourselves. That is humanity's true gift to the galaxy. As Earth grew larger in their view screens, every member of the rescue fleet understood that their mission had become something far greater than a simple rescue. It had become the first chapter in humanity's next great adventure, not just reaching for the stars, but helping to ensure they would shine brightly for all species, for all time. The void between worlds no longer seemed empty. It was filled with possibility, with responsibility, and with the promise of a future where humanity's compassion and determination would help shape the destiny of not just their own species, but of life itself throughout the cosmos.